Hello everybody, this is Faith from faithspaceacademy.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Now for this particular video, with all the changes that Canva has been going through, I do think that it is time for an updated video on all the basic tips that a new Canva user should be aware of to help you use Canva effectively and efficiently. So probably in the next 45 minutes or so, I will try to cover as much as about 30 tips. Not to overwhelm you, it's really just to walk you through an overview of all the main features of Canva. And in the video description, I will also list down what are the things that I'm covering in this video. So if you just want to zoom into one particular tip on how to do something, then you can just skip to that particular time in the video, okay? So let's dive in. Now to get started, let's start by, creating a new design. Okay, on the left-hand side, go to click on create a design. Now there are already different templates that are in there for you, and you can also choose based on your objective of creating the design. For example, if I want to start by creating an Instagram story, right? I would just type in Instagram and then choose the particular layout or the size that I want, whether it's an Instagram post in portrait layout, or let's say Instagram Reel. So once you click on it, it opens up the canvas size that is specific to your needs. Okay, usually when I create like digital products like printables and planners, I would just go straight for the US letter size document. Okay, so let's just start that. Or if you want to do like a specific custom size one, that is also possible. Just click on custom size and then type in the width. You can choose to have the dimensions either in pixels, inches, millimeters, or centimeters. Okay, so let's say I just want something that is 2000 by 2000 pixels, and then I'll create a new design like this. Okay, it's super simple. Now, but that is not really what I want to do right now. So let me just hit back and let me click on US document right here. Okay, the logo is also here. Now, the good thing about using Canva is that there are already so many templates within Canva, and you can also easily find Canva templates to buy. Okay, like for me, like I also create and sell Canva templates with commercial use rights. But that aside, you can easily find templates to start with. So my recommendation is to always start with a template. Whether you're creating a resume, okay, like CV, you could just search for resume, and then you can actually start by using templates. Okay, so you don't have to worry about starting from scratch. Okay, so maybe now let's try to search for, let's say, a budget planner. Let's see what we can get. So just in case you didn't see how I did it, go to design and then just type in whatever that you want to search for. So let's say I'm going to search for budget planner. Okay, so there will be different types of budget planners, and you will see that there's these with the crown and says Pro. So those would only be free for use if you're actually using the Canva Pro account. Well, I am subscribed to the Canva Pro account, and I do feel that it is very worthwhile. I think if I remember correctly, it's like $14 to $16 a month, and it gives you so many more features and templates to use, but it's entirely up to you whether you want to stick with the free Canva version or the Pro Canva version. Okay, so now before we start, let me just choose like this one. Okay, I'm just going to go with the Pro one. So this is a single page monthly budget planner. Now the other thing is, you would see that this is a pretty plain canvas, so to speak. Now if you want like rulers and guidelines, what you want to do is you go to File and go to Settings, and you can click on Show Rulers and Guides. And then you see that now there is a ruler at the top as well as the left-hand side. Okay, so why do we want that? Because if you use these can actually help you firstly create some kind of measurements. And if you want, you can also create like your own framing, so to speak. Okay, what do I mean, right? Let me just add a new page to this. I could click from the left hand side, and you will see that now there is this pink line. Okay, and when I'm just sliding across the screen, it makes me stop at this point. So there is actually a margin. Okay, and if I click, it stops at the margin. Of course, I can keep moving it, but if you want to have some kind of margin, you could also, let's just delete this, move this away, go to File, go to Settings, and you can also add guides. Okay, all these different guides for columns, and go to Settings, Show Margins, and then go to File, Settings, Show Cleaned print bleed, sorry. So these will be helpful depending on what you're doing to just make sure that, oh, this is where, you know, your design gets cut off, so to speak, because of the print bleed, okay? Usually I don't really have my margins on. If anything, I would just keep the rulers on. Okay, so it's entirely up to you. If you like it to be super clean, nothing distracting, then of course you can just go to File, go to Settings, and turn them all off. Okay, now the other thing is I do want to show you if I want to have this using the ruler. Okay, go to Settings, and I'm adding rulers and guides. Like what I did just now, I did this, right? I just dragged. Okay, so for example, if I'm creating some kind of design and I just want a particular, let's say I'm just going to search for a heart shape here. Okay, I'm just going to click on it. I just want this particular heart shape to be on this particular spot of this page. Okay, and for whatsoever reason, whatever design that I'm doing, I want to duplicate this, and then you see that the purple lines actually stay. Okay, don't worry, when you print it out or even when you preview it, the purple lines will not appear. Okay, these are just really just guidelines for you during the designing phase. So let's say I'm just going to delete this, and now instead of a heart, I want a star. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is really I am creating my own grid lines so that it helps me position certain elements. Okay, because otherwise, if I don't have the grid lines, I'm like, oh, I actually want the star on the other page to be at the exact same spot. So how do I do that, right? So you can actually use these guidelines to help you. Okay, so it's as easy as just clicking to drag it. Okay, so for example, if let's just delete this again, and we can just you can just click to drag them away. Okay, so for example, if I want to have something that measures in inches, right? Now to understand what this measurement of the ruler is, all that you need to do is go to File and look at this one. Remember we chose the US letter size document, right? So the dimensions is in inches, 8.5 inches by 11 inches, which also means that the ruler up there, the measurements are in inches. If you have chosen, let's say 2000 by 2000 pixels, the rulers up there will be in pixels, okay? So I could just click and drag, click the ruler. And here I could have it at the 3-inch mark and also a 1-inch mark. So this allows me to leave a 1-inch border, for example, and then maybe I want to have a 1-inch border at the top as well. Okay, and then I want something to be 3-inch tall. Okay, so I'm essentially using the grid lines to set aside a top margin of 1 inch, a left margin of 1 inch, and creating this such that this is going to be 2 by 3 inches tall. Okay, so you can use these to actually help you position different items, okay, according to your own guidelines. Okay, or you can use this to size certain things. So for example, if I'm just trying to create a rectangle, right? So then I could just use my margins and then size it accordingly. Okay, now the other thing is without the grid lines, so that is just how you can actually use grids to help you position elements to create borders of your preference. Now, to these elements, right, can you resize them? Yes, you can. So you can actually change the length and the height with these little white lines. If you want to adjust the size in proportion, then what you need to do is to drag the circles. Okay, so let's say if I were to have once again, because this is in inches, let's say if I want to have a 3 by 3 inch square. So as I'm slowly dragging the corners, you see on this black rectangle appears, right? So it's W 2.5, H 2.3. So it actually means that it now has a 2.5 inch wide width and a 2.3 inch wide height. So I could adjust it such that I just want it to be exactly 3 by 3 inches. Okay, there we go, right? W3, H3. So that's 3 inch wide and 3 inch height. So this is a square. Now, in order to resize this square proportionately, because I want a larger square, what I'm going to do is instead of dragging the sides, oops, that's not what I want. Let's click undo. I'm going to drag the circles. So in this case, I'm dragging it proportionately. Okay, now dragging the corners help you resize that element more proportionately, whereas if you just want to adjust the width or the height separately, then use the white lines on the edges. Okay, so that's resizing elements. Now, of course, you can also change the colors of elements, which is super simple. Just click on this circle and then you will see this color palette. Now, once again, because I'm using the Pro account, there are also brand colors. You can actually put in your preferred brand colors, which is very easy because I like to have my marketing materials with using brand colors. So I could just easily click to change to the brand color. So I'm always using the same brand colors and it just makes it so much easier. Okay, so if you want to use specific colors like brand colors, it could be a good idea to have the Canva Pro account so that you can set up your own brand color palette. Okay, otherwise what you can do is you can also definitely just go to plus and key in your own specific hex code. Okay, or just use the slider and choose a particular shade. Now, the other thing is, for example, let me just randomly pick this yellow. Okay, and then I want this green block to now have the exact same shade of this yellow. So what you can do is you can use the eyedropper function and you can pick the color and then it will change. Okay, so you can change colors using, let's try that again. I'm clicking on the rectangle. I'm going to the color palette. You can change colors based on whatever preset color palette that you already have under your brand colors, or you can click on this plus sign to use the slider, or you can put in the exact hex code, or you can actually use the eyedropper function to pick your colors. Okay, so that's for colors. Now, the other thing is, let's see. Now, previously we didn't have this feature, but now we could actually change the outline for this. So now this is a rectangle, right? I could also have a border style. So now there's no borders. I could have, let's say, dotted line borders. And I could also change the weight of the border. You could type in the number, or you can use the slider to make it thick or make it thinner. And you can also change the color of the border by going to this one, border color, and now I can have a different color. Okay, so that's turquoise and pink. Okay, and then here, corner rounding, you could also decide whether you want it to be more rounded or just really sharp corners. So this is entirely up to you. Now then, let me just duplicate this, Control D to duplicate this. And then now I want the same style, but I want a different shape. So I'm just gonna click on shape, and I could then change my existing rectangle to, let's say, a heart shape, and it just retains the settings of the border, the thickness of the border, the color of the border, as well as the color of the shape. Okay, so that's how you can actually just quickly change the shape. All right, and resize it according to what you want. So these are shapes. Now, the other thing is you could also add text inside the shape. Now, there are different ways of adding text. Okay, let's change this to black. Okay, all you have to do is press the T, letter T on your keyboard, and you will be able to have your text box appear. Okay, so I'm just going to type in hello, and I'm going to change this text color here to white, okay, or any random color. Let's try this again. This is going to be white. Whoops, I'm going to highlight everything. It's going to be white. And what's going on? I want everything to be in white. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it on top of the black backdrop. Okay, so now what we have now is a text box as well as a shape. So they're actually two separate elements. Okay, two separate elements. Now the other thing is you could also add text a different way, which is duplicate this and let's change the color to a lighter color. If you were to click inside the shape straight away, you would see that there is a text cursor that appears. Double click, okay, and then now you can type in. Okay, so the difference is, once again, that these are two separate elements, the text box as well as the shape. Now this one is a single element. The text is already embedded inside the shape. Okay, so then after that, you can still do the same thing. You can still change the fonts, okay, and you can also change the size of the font. Okay, but it is inseparable because this is embedded inside the text. Okay, and then some other things is you can actually put it a line to the left, a line to the right, and you can also do things like add bullet points and stuff like that. That's also possible. Okay, now the only downside is that you cannot change the effects of the font. So what do I mean? So here, for this particular font, let's try changing effects, okay? So as a standalone text box, it allows you more room for creativity and flexibility. So you can actually go to effects and this thing will pop up, and then you can try like shadow, and let me choose like a yellow shadow. Not clear, but let's try this. Okay, let's change the color into black, and now you can see that that's a yellow shadow, right? Then the other thing is here, let's go back to effects. You can try out all the different effects. Okay, so there's shadow, there's lift, there's hollow, okay, there's neon, there's glitch. So there are all these different effects to actually change how your word or your text looks. Okay, and then after that, like this one, the outline, you can change the outline color, you can change the thickness of the outline color, and for things like shadow, you can also adjust the transparency of the shadow. You can make it blur, you can make it sharp, you can change the direction of the shadow. So there's so many other, what do you call it? You have all these things that you can actually toggle to adjust how you want your shadow to look like. Okay, so there are all these features, so have fun playing with them. Okay, so that is the advantage of having the text box and the elements separate, because then you actually have more room to create different effects for your text box. Otherwise, if you just want something that is super simple, and you see what happens is when my text box is embedded inside the shape itself, I don't have to worry about resizing because it's always going to stay, let's say, centralized. Okay, whether I shift it up, resize it down, or just shrink it, is going to stay right in the middle because the text box is embedded inside the shape. Now let's go back to the very first page, which I actually used for the using the template that I found, the budget planner, right, from Canva's templates. Now, before I dive into that, let's look at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. There are actually a few ways to view your project. One is you present it in full screen, so this is good. Like, you can actually test out the presentation. If there's animations, you can actually see them right here. And here there's the thumbnail view versus the blown up view of the page, as well as all the other thumbnails. And the grid view, it's also very helpful because you can actually rearrange the pages like this. And sometimes for me, it's important because I want to make sure that it looks good, right? Even on a small screen. I think especially helpful if you're creating like product banners or like Pinterest pins or Instagram posts where you know that your actual image is going to appear pretty small on somebody's mobile phone. So you want to make sure that even when it's zoomed out, okay, in a small size, the words are still easily readable. So it's good to kind of check your design in the grid view. Okay, now I'm just going to click on this one, use the shift key to click on the other, which allows me to select multiple pages. Okay, here you can also duplicate pages like this. Okay, you can click and drag to delete, or once again, click on the first one, hold down the shift key to click on the last one, and then just delete them and hit the delete button. All right, so that's how you can actually manipulate some of the pages in your project. Now, this one, it is actually a really nicely designed budget planner already, but maybe because I don't like the colors, for example. Now, how do I change the colors? Super simple, like I shared with you just now. Maybe I want to make it according to my brand color, so I'm going to change it to the pink. And once I select this pink, okay, let's see, let's try this, a dark pink. Now, if there are actually multiple elements with this exact same shade, and now that I click on this, changing it to this fuchsia color, you will see this pop up. Change all of this brown color to pink, and once I click on change all, everything changes, which is so fast. It's like a one-click thing. And let's try this, and maybe I'm going to type in the hex code, which is a really light gray, and hit enter. Okay, and let's try this one, mustard yellow, and maybe something else also. Okay, here I'm also going to change the colors. Let's see, the light gray. And once again, there are multiple elements of this same shade, and I just click on change all and everything changes, and it's so fast. Okay, so that's really easy, and now suddenly it looks different, right? To make it even more different, what we can do is we can actually change the text as well. So you could choose, you can go to like handwriting, corporate, or anything, and then they just show you the different types of handwriting font, or you could even choose, like put in the description like something cute, and then the cute fonts will appear. Okay, so there it is, and let me just zoom in what if I also change the body text font into this owl cube regular? So once again, there are a lot more text boxes with this particular font. So I can just click on change all and everything changes. Okay, so that is helpful. And just with a change in colors, with a change in the font, it will actually look different from the original template that we grabbed from Canva itself. Okay, so that's about changing things around. What I've just showed you is that we change individual colors of the elements as well as the fonts, right? Now, for example, I want to merge different types of templates to create my own design. So I already have a monthly budget planner here, and I actually kind of like the design right here. So I'm just gonna click on it. Maybe I'm just gonna click on new page and pick on this particular page. But I like these design better. And you see that there's a template style. So I'm gonna click on this, and it says apply style to all pages, and I'll select yes. What happens is now the first page, remember, it was previously whitish and pinkish with all my brand colors, and now it's changed just because I clicked on apply style. So this is also another way of changing styles very, very quickly. Once again, even then you can click to switch to shuffle because there is a particular color palette being used for this style, right? So there's the dark green, there's the grays and stuff like that. If you shuffle them, the permutation of the color changes. Okay, so once again, you can change it. Let's say I prefer this better, and I'm gonna say apply style to all pages, and then my first page would also change. It basically applies to all the pages in this particular project. Okay, so once again, this is super easy for you to just change out the colors and fonts and the styles, and it will look very different from the original template that you started using. How about let's add on our own graphics. Let's say, well, I want a unicorn. Okay, so there are different graphics and there are photos. Now, when do you use what, right? Of course, if you're doing like social media marketing images, the photos will probably do better. But if you're creating digital products to sell, like you're ultimately selling it or delivering it in a PDF format, I would strongly encourage you to use graphics instead of photos, because the photos will end up giving you a really high or a large file size, which makes it much harder or takes a longer time to download and upload it. So use the graphics. Okay, that's my recommendation. Now, but meanwhile, let's just try this particular thing. This is actually under photo. What we're gonna do is we're gonna test out different photo editing features. Click on edit. And then you can see that you can do different things. Now, what I really love is the background remover. For example, I love the unicorn, but I don't want the pink background. There it is. Okay, all I have to do is just do the BG remover, but this is a pro feature, so this could be the thing that you want to get Canva Pro account for, just because of the background remover. Okay, that's possible. And then that's it. You can have this without worrying about the background anymore. And then let's say I can add this particular image. Okay, and then click on the ellipse menu and set image as background. Now this is so pretty. Okay, this is so pretty. It looks like I could use this as like a, I don't know, birthday party invitation and stuff like that. Okay, so that is just by changing, removing the background. Okay, the other thing is, let's go back to this original one again and click on edit to see all the different things you can do to edit the image. There is also the magic eraser. Okay, you can adjust the brush size. Let's say I don't want the unicorn horn. Let's just carefully erase it like this and let go and erase. So give it a bit of time. It should ideally remove the horn, but replace the missing horn with the pink background. Fingers crossed. There we go, right? You erase it, but you're actually replacing it with the nearby, the surrounding background, so to speak. So let's say I want to remove the eye. I just want to have, I don't know, do something to the eye and just erase it. It should just replace it with the white background as well. Okay, sorry, I didn't press erase. So just give it some time. So I love the magic eraser. This is actually not new per se, but this wasn't around when in my original video for you know, the basic tips for Canva users. So I'm going through that. There we go. So check out the magic eraser. There are a lot of other features as well, like adding shadows. I love to add shadows also. So let's say this one. This is so cute. Okay, let's just pick a, I don't know, like a blue color. Okay, here we're going to go to edit and we're going to add shadows, and there are different types of shadows. We can do a drop shadow. Now it looks more three-dimensional. Okay, so this is super cute. We can do an outline. We can also change the color of the outline, and now it becomes like a digital sticker. Okay, so play with the shadows, play with the different features for editing photos. You're going to have lots of fun. Now those are photos. Now how about graphics? Now certain graphics allow you to actually change colors as well. So let's see. Ooh, this is lovely. So this is a crown and this is under graphics. So sometimes some of these graphics are actually color changeable. So what you're gonna see is this color palette pops up. Okay, show you the difference, yeah? So here we've got the rainbow, no color palette, so you can't change the colors of the rainbow. But this one, when I click on the crown, you see that the color palette appears. So then it's very easy for me to once again just change the colors. Look at that. Okay, and I'm just gonna change things around. There we go. Okay, so I really love finding all these graphics which allows me to change colors, because then it gives me so much more room for, you know, changing the colors to fit whatever else that I'm doing on this particular page. Okay, so try to find the graphics that allow you to change colors. Okay, that would be fun. Now let's show you how to actually crop an image like this one. You can just go to this little crop tool. You could just adjust it, click and drag, and see what is left. Okay, and you just click outside. This is what the cropped is. Okay, anything that you don't like, you can always hit the undo button. When you click on crop again, there's also the smart crop, where it allows you to crop according to different proportions. So then you can also do that, and once you're ready, just click done. How about creating lines? Let's go back to a blank page. Let's create some lines. Go to elements. Okay, cross it out. There are actually different types of elements. We've got tables, we've got charts, we've got graphics, and you could just also search for what you're looking for, right? I could just search for lines like this. No, under elements, my bad. Go to line, and then you can click on any of the line. So now the awesome thing is you can also choose whether you want to have ends on your lines. So here, select this line. Here it allows you to choose your end. Maybe there's no end on one side. Let me just zoom in. So there's no end on this side, but there's a little edge on this side. Or you could change it to a circle or a diamond shape or whatsoever. Okay, and then you can also change the color. You can change the color. You can also change the thickness. Oh, that's really huge. You can change how you want it to be like. Is it dotted line and so forth? Okay, so the other cool thing is you could also add points in a line where you can actually bend it, like here, elbow, so I can just drag it. So this is great for like drawing charts or like a pathway or whatsoever. You will see this. Let's change it to black so it's easier for you to see. So you see these white lines, okay, that you can drag, and every time you drag it, the line gets bent. Okay, so that's one, which is the elbow version. Now the other one is the curved one, which gives you more room to actually just click and drag different curves. Okay, so it allows you to have more freedom with moving your things around, with drawing the lines, so to speak. Okay, so that's for creating lines. The other feature that I want to show you is how you can actually copy and paste styles. Let's just go to a simple shape again, which is a square. We're just going to leave with the colors. We're going to say hello again. And this time around, I really want this to be much bigger, so it's more obvious. Okay. And yeah, so basically there is the square, and then I'm gonna have a separate square with a different color, okay, just a random color, and a different font, something that looks more, that is obviously different. Okay, so these are different, right? So what we're gonna do is, for example, I like how this looks, okay? Let's make a different one. Let's have more variety to help you see the differences. There we go. Okay, so for this particular one, I want to copy the style. So when I select on this box, this square of the text box, this little thing appears. So copy style. So I'm gonna click on copy style. Where am I gonna paste it? I'm gonna paste it right here. So once I click it, there you go. Okay, let's do that again. Copy this style and paste it. So it replaces. Now I changed my mind. I want things to be in turquoise again. I'm gonna click on this thing, copy style, and replace this. Okay, so this is really cool. It's so fast to actually change things around. So that's using the copying and pasting style feature. Okay, now let's try out frames. So you can find them under elements. So why do we want frames? Because frames allow you to actually just drag and drop an image. It's like a placeholder. You can also upload your own images. On the left-hand side section, just go to uploads. You can upload your own file, JPEG, PNG. So for example, I have this Halloween image. I could just drag and drop it in. And now it takes that shape, right? Which is the frame, which is a circular frame. And you can double click on it to actually move things around. Look at that, for example, I just want to show the moon. I could adjust it. Okay, I could click and drag, resize it, and now, but it still takes that shape, okay, of the frame. Now, the other thing is go to elements and just scroll through. You should also be able to see mockups, okay? Scroll through at the bottom, mockups. These are really cool also. Let's try this one, this laptop version. Okay, so what we're gonna do is resize this, and let's say I want to put a product image, going to my uploads, and I'm searching for this, and I'm just gonna click and drag it in and just give it some time to load, but it should take, see, the place of the laptop. So you could just click and drag. And for my friends who do like print on demand stuff, super fun, let's say the t-shirt one. Look at that. Okay, click and resize it, and going back to my upload section, and I could just click and drag something. Click and drag and give it some time, and it will populate this placeholder. Cool, right? Super, super simple. Let's go to a new page. We're gonna start with, we're gonna work on using tables, all right? Going to elements, going back to elements and searching for tables, just click one. I'm just gonna do a quick run through. You can actually change the colors of the lines. Okay, here we're gonna change colors. We can change the thickness of the lines. You can add more rows and columns here, like add a column, and I want to add more rows as well. Let's see, click on this one, add row, there we go. Okay, so when you click this, click and drag the circles, the table resizes proportionately, or you can just resize a single row or column. Okay, so that's one way. Now you could also just double click it and type it in. You could select it, you could change the fonts here. Okay, you can change the size of the font. Now this is huge. And then we can just resize it, and let's say I'm just gonna type different stuff, and then you can also make sure to, like, I want to size all the rows equally, okay? Or I want to size all the columns equally. That's also possible. So look out for these ellipse menus on the top and on the side. Okay, size columns equally, and now everything is neat and equal. Okay, now there are different versions of the table as well. You could also choose something like you can have just the outside border. You can increase the table spacing. Look at that. So then instead of, they will actually have like, this becomes a grid, right? So what are the applications? Well, you can use this as a bingo card, right? You can just replace it with images, and you can create like a bingo card, 4x5 bingo card. So it's super simple instead of creating individual squares. Okay, then what you want to do is, let's say I'm doing an animal bingo. Yeah, and then I'm just going to resize it and put it like that. So I could do a bingo card using the table to create that grid. Okay. And play around with the colors, and you can also have, instead of what it is now, which is transparent background, you could also change the background. Okay, so super fun, so many features that you can play with. This is the tables. Now we're going on to grids. Now what's the difference between, what is grid, what is table, what is frame? Okay, let's just do that all over again, right? That's the frame, looks like this. Okay, if you see there are actually many different individual frames. Okay, so these are frames, placeholders for you to drag and drop the image in there. And then there is the grid. Okay, where are the grids? Where are my grids? Let's find it. If not, let's just search for it. Grid. There we have grids. Okay, so grids are also great for, let's say, okay, so let me show you the difference. Now here, when I click on the grid automatically fits the entire page. Okay, and you can see that there are actually three image placeholder in this particular grid. Okay, so this is also great for, like, let's say if you want to create a photo collage, right? Let me choose this grid. Once again, once I click on that grid, it auto-populates the entire page. And then after that, I can just click and drag images into it. Okay, so there it is. Okay, there it is, your grid. So that's the difference. The frame is usually an individual one. It's easy for you to resize it. The grid actually auto-populates the entire page. Let's do some fun stuff. Let me go to design and search for unicorn. Birthday invite. Let's see what we come up with. Ooh, looks good. How about this one? Yeah, let's try this one. Okay, this is very pretty. It's a baby shower. Okay, so here you see that there are actually individual elements that you can move around, and let's do something fun. We're going to animate elements. Okay, let's do something interesting. Now, before we go animation, there's also this draw feature, so you can actually draw your own stuff. I do think it's kind of hard to draw with the mouse, but well, it's still possible. So let's say I'm just gonna draw, I don't know, some random wriggly lines. Okay, so that's just drawing. Okay, that's it. Now, if I want to animate this, this is also possible. So I just click this and I click on animate. I can animate this line that I drew. So create an animation. Now, what you can do is you click and drag the element to create that animation. So I'm gonna click it all over. Of course, this doesn't make sense. This totally destroys the beautiful poster, but it's okay. There you go, right? So you can actually create an animation, and you can create an animation for something that you drew. Okay, you can increase the speed, you can make it smooth, okay, and there we go. And it can also appear on a click. So in presentation, let's go to presentation settings. Let's click, we're going to the different pages, and then there you go. Okay, so how about, can we animate this also? So let's click on animate. You can also create an animation. So I'm going to move it. Okay, so look at that. So you can actually use all these animations to create things like GIFs, or how do you pronounce it, as GIF, or basically short video clips. Okay, so maybe let me delete the path, and maybe I want to start, no, I'm gonna delete the path. I am going to start this here, okay? And then I'm gonna animate my sleeping unicorn, create an animation, click and drag. That's it. So that's my animation. Delete that. I really don't like the wriggly thing that I drew. And then for the other things in the page, easy to animate is just click on the entire page, okay? Click on animate, and you can actually choose those preset animations. So let's say drift, baseline, party. Okay, let's try this. Okay, and then you can also change the time of how long you want the animation to last. Let's just keep it with 5 seconds. Okay, and then you go to preview, and let's try it out. Okay, wait. What happened to my animation for this one? So I think what happened was that when I did the animation for this, and then I did the animation for the page actually kind of replaced my animation for the unicorn. So then what I did was I just clicked on this individual one again, and I customized the animation, which is to create my own animation. Okay, and click and drag, you know, that is the line of the path. And now you see that the unicorn moves differently from the rest of the page. Okay, let's check that out in the preview section again. Let's zoom. Let's wait for the unicorn. There we go. The unicorn moves according to my specified animation, whereas the other one, the rest of the page, moves according to the page animations. For example, if I want to share this as a video, send it to my friends, then I'm gonna click on share, click on download, and I'm gonna save it as an MP4 video, just this current page, and click on done, and let's wait for it to download. Okay, now the other thing is, other than animating the individual elements or the page, can also find animated elements. Okay, let me just quickly find animated elements. So let's say I search for unicorn, and if you're using the Pro account, you should be able to filter your searches. You can search for the animated ones. So look at that. this one is already animated because it's moving, right? So everything else could be static, but this is actually moving. So you can also find elements that are already animated. Okay, let's just look at the MP4 video that we just downloaded. There we go, press play. So this works. Okay, so you can share it on Instagram, on whatever social media, or just share it with your friends. Okay, since we're talking about sharing, the other thing is, if you don't want to download this as a video, you can also click on share to create a public view link. Okay, for the purpose of that, let's just delete everything else. Okay, and then I'm going to click on share. I'm going to click on public view link and just create that. So I could actually copy this URL and share it with my friends. Okay, so what they're going to do is when they receive this URL, they see this preview section, and if there are animations, there should be a play button that allows them to play it. Okay, now that is sharing as a public view link. People cannot edit it, they're just watching it. Or if there are no animations, they can just click through like slides. Okay, the other thing is, if you sell editable templates, what you want to do, or you trying to allow people to edit this, okay, as a template without affecting the original master copy of yours, what you want to do is you click on share and you share it as a template link. Okay, so the difference is when you copy and paste this template link, okay, let me just paste it in a different window or a different tab. You would see this. Okay, this template was created by me, and now you can edit this template. So when somebody clicks on this, this project is now opened up and saved as a copy, as a copy in their account, and they can start using it. Okay, and it doesn't affect the master copy in my account. So that is sharing as a template. Okay, so people can make changes to it without affecting your original copy. So this is what I do when I create and sell Canva templates. Okay, I share it as a template link. Of course, there are different ways to actually download your project as well. It's all found under sharing. You can go to download. You can choose the different versions, whether it's PDF, standard, or print, or whatsoever. Now, let me just double click on this. Let's have it here. Now, I want to talk about the differences between flattened and non-flattened PDFs. Okay, before that, for example, this RSVP, maybe I want to hyperlink it. That is also possible. Okay, maybe I'm just going to highlight it, click on this hyperlink, and I'm just going to copy my website link and hyperlink it here. Okay, so you can hyperlink to different elements. You can hyperlink to the image. If you don't see it, go to the ellipse menu and you should find it here under link. Okay, do note that if there are a group of elements, let's say I click to select, and why do you want to group elements? When you click to select, you can actually group them, and now they move as a group and they resize as a group. But what you cannot do is that you cannot hyperlink a group. Okay, so you cannot hyperlink a group. If you have trouble hyperlinking, then you probably need to make sure that your elements are ungrouped. Okay, and I could hyperlink the image. I could hyperlink a shape. I could hyperlink the text. Okay, so here, click on link. I'm just going to paste in my website's URL here. And then here, I could also click hyperlink. Now, just to show you, you can also hyperlink between your pages. This is how we actually create digital planners. Using Canva. I have a few videos on creating digital planners in Canva, so you can check those out. Let's just duplicate this page, and we're just going to change things out so I could easily tell that it's a different page. Okay, so what's going to happen is I can go to grid view, and it will help. If you're hyperlinking between pages, it actually helps to name your page. So black. Okay, pink, black pink. Okay, so for example, this image has been hyperlinked to my website, and this text box, I'm going to hyperlink it to the other pages. So you can actually hyperlink to external URLs or to within this document. So here I'm going to click on black. Now, before we check the hyperlinks, let us just remove the animations because I don't really want an animations anymore. I actually want to download this as a PDF file, so no more animations. Let's make it into 4 pages. I'm just going to change the colors so that it's easier for you to notice the differences when I jump from one page to another using the hyperlink. So I named this what? Blue. Let's go for blue, and let's go for yellow. Okay, once again, click on this one, edit the hyperlink, and I'm going to get rid of it and change it to yellow. Okay, so once again, go to preview to check my links. Okay, so here, mouse over the unicorn, it brings me to the external URL. The hyperlink is working. Mouse over this one, the RSVP text, I click on it, it should bring me to the yellow page. So it essentially jumps from one page to another because of the internal hyperlinks. Okay, so that is how the hyperlinks work. Now, why do you talk about this? Because I want to show you the differences between flattening a PDF file and not flattening a PDF file. Okay, now when should you flatten it? If you don't want people to extract the individual elements, you should flatten it. Okay, so I'm going to save 2 versions of this, download as PDF, standard. I usually just do standard because I'm sending digital copies. If you want it, if the file size is huge or the design is actually huge and you want it to be kept in a high resolution, then you probably need to save it as PDF print. But if you're doing like US letter size, you know, for easy the ease of sending and downloading and whatsoever, I would say the PDF standard would be sufficient. Okay, so I'm going to download this version without flattening it. And then I'm going to go back to share, click on download, and then have a PDF standard again, but this time around I'm going to flatten it and download it. Okay, so I'm going to show you the differences between flattening and non-flattening or non-flattened PDF. Now, let's go back to my home menu. Okay, you can actually just drag and drop PDF files. Okay, or there's this little icon that says upload. Okay, so choose files. Now let's start with the one that wasn't flattened. The first version of the PDF wasn't flattened. Okay, so I'm uploading it, importing file, let's view it. Okay, it's done. So I open it up. So what happens is everything else can be torn apart, like literally. Okay, because this PDF was not flattened. Okay, now, how about the other version? I'm going back to home again. Okay, I'm just going back to home. The other way of uploading your file is to literally just drag and drop. So let me just try to open my viewfinder. Okay, so this is the flattened PDF. I'm just going to click and drag it. Look at that. You can also just drag and drop files that you want to upload directly onto Canva. Okay, and then this is the flattened version. And you would realize that the elements cannot be removed. Okay, so for, let's say, copyright issues, you don't want people to go around tearing apart your designs, then you want to make sure that you flatten your PDF as you download it. Okay, so this is the flattened version, whereas remember just now I showed you the non-flattened version can basically be torn apart. Okay, now however, if you have hyperlinks and you're downloading the PDF, please do not flatten. Okay, please do not flatten, because the minute you flatten the PDFs, even if you don't re-import it into Canva, if you're just distributing the PDF file, the hyperlinks will disappear. Okay, let me repeat that. If you're trying to distribute a PDF file with hyperlinks inside, do not flatten the PDF file. Okay, now what's the workaround then? What you're going to do is you're probably going to do a 2-step thing. Okay, for example, once I'm happy with everything, I would export it as a PDF file, flattened. And then I will re-import that PDF file and add my hyperlinks. Okay, does that make sense? That makes sense, right? Because you don't want people to start tearing apart the individual elements. So you want to make sure that it is flattened. However, you need the hyperlinks to be working, so therefore you need to do a 2-step process. Flatten everything first as a PDF, then re-import that flattened PDF before you add the hyperlinks. After adding the hyperlinks, export it as a standard PDF file without flattening it, so the hyperlinks still work. Okay, so that even if somebody were to re-import that final PDF into Canva, they cannot tear apart your elements. All right? I apologize that this is actually taking longer than I expected, but I do hope that you still find it useful. And like I mentioned, you can always go to the video description to jump to different sections of this video to go to that specific tip that you want to learn more about. Okay, so now we have gone through quite a number of things, downloading as PDF, downloading as images. Now you can also schedule directly onto your social media account. So you can go to share and just share on social. But I think what it requires you to is to actually link up your individual accounts. So it's super helpful. Like you create your pins, you create your Instagram stories, and then after that you can just schedule them directly. Okay, so but you have to integrate or link your Instagram account to Canva or your TikTok account to Canva. Okay. Now, how about resizing? Now, for example, you create something and then you want to resize it because you want to get it at the perfect size for different social media accounts. So super simple, especially if you have the Pro account. Go to resize and magic switch. Okay, so let's say I want to convert this into a 3000 by 3000 pixels. Yes, it's possible. Just click on continue. I can choose to copy and resize, which means then they will automatically make a duplicate of this project, or I could just resize this design. I usually choose copy and resize. So let's just do that, and then I can open it and it becomes the exact same design in a different size. Okay, of course, if this happens, you need to kind of make sure everything is adjusted. Okay, so you have to make sure that you have to check your elements, check the alignment and stuff like that. But it's super simple to just do a one-click resize. Now, but this is a Pro feature. So what's the workaround? Okay, what do we do if we don't have the Pro account? Okay, let's come back here. Okay, we can still do a resize. I'm going to go to file and create a new design, and this time around I want a custom size 2000 by 2000 pixels, create a new design, and then I'm just going to copy the pages. I can Control A to select all the elements, Control C to copy, and paste again right here. But you notice that basically you have to resize everything. But this is as fast as it can get. Okay, so just move things around. Okay, now the other thing is you can also copy entire pages. Let's do this. Go to the grid view and let's say select this yellow one, Control C to copy, coming back to a different project, also going back to the grid view, and then Control V to paste it. So you're actually pasting the entire page, and then you would resize it or just move the elements accordingly to where they should be. Okay, so if you don't have the Pro account, this is the workaround for resizing your project, but there's going to be a bit more work required. Okay, we also want to talk about layers, especially if you have many different elements. Okay, so let's see. Let me just copy this and paste it here. So there are actually, where are we? I want to have multiple unicorns. Okay, let's just leave it as here. So I'm just going to click on this one and I'm going to go to position. What you can do is you can just go straight to like moving it backwards, moving it forward, or going one step at a time. Okay, now it gets trickier when there are many elements stacked over one another. So you go to position. You can do that like what I just did, or you can go to layers. And then here, this will look very much like Photoshop, where you can just click and drag to move things around, right? So let's see, focus on this one. Baby shower, there's a text on top of the ribbon, right? So if I were to click and drag and move the ribbon up, I will block the baby shower. Okay, I could also move the baby shower on top and then it appears at the topmost layer. How you click and drag to move between layers. Now, the other thing is, back to these 3 unicorns, right? If there are many different items overlapped, let me add to the mix this thing that goes behind. I want to select a particular element. How do I do that? So you click and you hold down your Control or Command key if you're on the Mac until you select the layer that you want. Okay, so let's try that again. The first layer, the minute I click, the topmost layer will be selected. And then when I hold down the Control key or Command key and I click again, it goes down to the next layer. Now this one is the second unicorn selected. I click again, it goes down one more layer. Now this is the third unicorn, and I hold down my Control key or Command key and click again. Now that's that little watercolory thingy that is at the back, and I can resize it. Okay, so if you want to move anything, it's a good idea to go to position and you bring it all the way to the front because it's so much easier to manipulate it and then just move it back, or use the layers to drag it to wherever you want. Okay, so hold down the Command or Control key to click and select to keep clicking until you select the correct layer. Now this obviously isn't probably isn't very ideal because of the colors, the yellow and the pink. So now accessibility is a huge issue and we really want to be inclusive and make sure that our designs are accessible. So this new feature is really cool. So you go to File and you go to Settings and you can actually check Design Accessibility. Okay, and let's see what it says. The typography is good. Color contrast has 3 issues. Low contrast text, yeah. Okay, and low contrast text on page 3 and page 4, which is the yellow stuff. Yeah, so just do a quick check to see if your, you know, the stuff that you use, is it accessible? Is your design as accessible as it should be? So that's a new feature. Now, I also want to share with you how you can actually record videos on Canva really quickly. Let's say you create some presentation slides and you're going to do a presentation. So let's click on this one again, and you can click on here at the bottom left-hand corner, there's notes. So page 1, and then page 2, I'm going to click on notes. Page 2, page 3. Okay, so what's going to happen is nobody can see your notes. Okay, it's really only for your own reference as you're presenting. So now I've put in the notes and I'm going to click on record. So let's go to share and click on more, and you should be able to find present and record. Okay, let's try that. Present and record. Go to recording studio. Allow. Whoa, my face is huge now. Let's start recording. Okay, so you would see that my face here at the bottom, okay, that is the camera that Canva is using. So what your people, your audience are gonna see is this screen and your face. Okay, at the corner of the screen. And this right-hand side, the notes is not visible to your audience. Okay, so you talk, you present, you click onto the next page, and then the page 2 notes will appear. You click on the next page, the page 3 notes will appear. So it's super, super helpful. And once you're done, click on End Recording, and you can actually decide to download right away or just save the project and hit back to your project. Okay, so you could copy this and open it in a new tab. Okay, let's come back to this in a while, and you can just go to download right away to download the MP4 video, or you just save and exit. Okay, and once you save and exit, you come back here and you will be able to download it from here also. Now, if you have already copied the URL, this is you still have the chance to copy the URL here. Okay, so this is the version that your audience will get. I believe that they're not able to download it. It's just a view link. So you can actually share this view link for people. So this is really cool, especially if you're trying to share short trainings and videos or even courses, yeah, without having a super complex or sophisticated platform where it hosts your course. You can actually just record here and share your video links here. Not my preferred option, but it is possible. Like Canva has so many features right now. Okay, what we're gonna do now is we are going to embed a video on like some kind of mockup. That's also possible, right? Remember the mockups? You can go to elements and you can search for mockups, or you can just search for it. Let me search for computer. Okay, like this one. Or more specifically, computer mockup. I like this. Oopsie. Here. Okay, I am just gonna use it like this. And then this is not really a mockup per se because there is no frame in here, but I'm just gonna manually put in my frame, not an issue, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm just going to click on frame here, and then just resize it to fit it in, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag and drop a video in there. So going to my uploads and one of my previous videos, just drag and drop in here.
Okay, so you see that.
Not so ideal because it doesn't really fit the frame. Maybe something like this. Okay, looks better. Okay, so now I'm just gonna walk you through some quick video editing tips on Canva. Now you can click on edit. You can remove the volume. Let's say I don't want any volume at all. It's not supposed to, it's just like a video, no audio video. Okay, and you can also trim it. So let's say I could just crop it and just make sure it only shows that few seconds. Okay, then you can play on repeat, you can play automatically, you can speed up your video as well. But basically that is how you can quickly edit your video. And so what happened is you can also just download this as a video file. Okay, but what is cool is that the video rolls on the mockup of the computer. So it's just pretty cool. It's also very cool when you save this page as a MP4 video and you can upload it on your social media. Okay, now we can look for music, right? So let's go to elements and let's search for music. How about this? Okay, this is cool. I'm just gonna add this in, okay? And what you see is that this thing appears and I could drag it to see how long it should last. I think what happened is because this music is only 3 minutes, whereas my video is much longer than that. So I'm just going to trim my video again to make it really short for like, just to drag and make it really short. Let's just give it a couple of seconds, about 30 seconds. Now we definitely have enough audio for that. Okay, you can double click on this little frame and you can adjust which part of the audio file you want. Okay, and then let's just test it out and go into play. So you would see that there is actually the music as the video plays. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And let's just go to animate as well. I can put in animation for the entire page, and let's preview that again. So the music plays, the animation goes at the same time. Okay, so then when you're ready, if this is for your social media account, all you have to do is, once again, you can share it on social directly, or you can actually just download as MP4 and upload it wherever you want. I really just want to add on a few more features which you probably might think is going to be helpful as well. So why don't we just create a new design and we're just going to search for website. Okay, website. So this should be the right dimensions. And let's say you're getting married and you want to come up with a quick wedding website to invite people to your wedding. Let's just pick this. Okay, apply all 5 pages. You can edit, you can click and drag your own preferred images. You can change your graphics and stuff like that. And then you can just click on publish website. You can even purchase your own domain, okay? But for now, we're just going straight to publish your website. Just prepare a design. What's gonna happen is, this is like super fast, especially when you're using the existing templates, okay? Just view website in a new tab. And there you go, it really looks like a website. You slide through, scroll through like a website. So remember we talked about hyperlinking, right? So you can also hyperlink anything to external URLs and stuff like that. So every time you add a design, let's say I'm gonna add my hyperlink to this, okay? Remember you need to ungroup before you can hyperlink. So I'm gonna hyperlink the text, okay? And I also want to hyperlink the button, okay? So that no matter where they click, they're gonna get the hyperlink. Okay, and then make sure to, after every change you need, or not after every change, you need to make sure that you publish your website after the changes to get the website updated. Okay, but you don't have to change the URL. So let me just show you. So this one is before I change it, right? So there is no external hyperlink. But now that I have updated the changes, all I have to do is refresh the same URL and I should get to the hyperlink to the external page. Okay, if you're publishing a website, make sure that you update your changes, but there is no change in the URL of the web page, which makes it super simple. So you could just make the changes on your end, just make sure to publish it, and the user just have to refresh the page and they will get the updated version. Now, since we're talking about website, I think what is also cool to have is also something like a QR code, right? And you can actually create it within Canva itself. There are so many apps on Canva. If you don't see it here, just go to apps and try to search for QR code. This thing should appear. So let's just search for QR code and open, super simple, paste in the URL and generate code, and then that is super simple. And then after that, when you just fish out your camera phone and scan it, you will be redirected to the URL. So you can also generate a QR code like this and put it anywhere you want it, PDF file, social media, or website, or anything that you publish using Canva. Now, the other thing is, I just want to quickly also bring to your attention the translator, which is super cool. Here, you can just click on the text and you can click on translate. And you can choose the language that you want to translate to. And since I don't really know that many languages, I'm just gonna change it to Chinese because at least I understand what I'm reading, right? So the translation is correct and it's super simple. Once again, you can just click on the text and translate it. And just make sure, you can even choose the type of voice. Is it more professional? Is it friendly? Or is it casual or whatsoever? And it translates like super fast. Of course, if you're translating, please make sure that you read through and check through, okay? Or at least get somebody to read through and check through to make sure that it makes sense. So the translation feature is also super helpful. One more thing, magic media, like you can add your own images. There is AI incorporated into Canva now. You can create your own AI images. So let's say wine glasses. I don't know, just want an image of wine glasses. Okay, so all I have to do is type in wine glasses and wait for this to generate it. You can also choose the type of image. Do you want it more like animate? Do you want it more watercolor? And there we go. There we have it. Okay, super fast, super simple. You don't even have to go to a separate platform to create AI images. You can just do it within Canva itself. So let's try watercolor and generate again to see what we get for watercolor wine glasses. Okay, oh, this is cute. I could totally use this as a backdrop and maybe just reduce the transparency of it. And there you go. Okay, this is really fun and super easy. Well, the thing with designers and the thing with Canva and any other kind of platform is you just really want to have time to try it out. Okay, there's no right or wrong. It's really fun. So try to explore. And as much as I've already spent so much time in this particular video, there are still so many features out there. But I think what I've done is I've really tried to cover as much basic features as possible, as well as things that I feel that most people would find helpful, whether it's doing their work or content creation for their social media accounts and digital product content creation. So I really hope that you have found it to be helpful. Just one very last thing is on creating and managing folders. Now, I've got many people asking me, how do I manage so many projects? Because, well, I've got like, I don't know, hundreds or maybe even thousands of projects. But in all honesty, I don't really use folders because I think what is more important is naming my projects in a way that I know how to search them, right? So for example, I create many different presentations for different summits. So I will obviously title it according to the name of the presentation as well as the event. Okay, so I'll probably title it as Training ABC for Summit XYZ, for example. So I don't need it to be in any particular folder, but all I have to do is when I search for projects, okay, when I go to projects, I can actually easily search for something, because even if I cannot remember the title of the presentation, I might be able to remember the name of the summit. So go to projects and just search for Summit XYZ. And there we go. Okay, so, but of course, if you can definitely organize things according to files and folders. So you just have to add new and create your own folder and just click and drag stuff. Okay, you can name your folder, and if you mouse over a certain design, you go to the ellipse menu, you can also move to a certain folder. Okay, so that's how you can keep things organized. But it's all about how having a system that works for you. Okay, like I said, I do believe that it's more important to have a good naming system for your projects rather than folders. But if you like it to be, you know, even more organized than me, please go ahead and have folders. And if I'm not wrong, there are unlimited folders for the Canva Pro account. So if organizing is huge, then you really want to consider getting the Canva Pro account. Okay, so once again, thank you so much for spending some time with me going through all these Canva tips and designs. I do hope that you have found it to be helpful. I do intend to create other videos that are probably a bit more advanced with advanced features and advanced design, but this hopefully kind of sums up all the main basic features, most commonly used ones. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them. And please like, follow, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more Canva tutorials. I will see you around.